Tidbits from TNT, Friday morning, April 25, 2025. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. NT. Tishwash, Foreign Minister arrives in Washington. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs Fuad Hussein arrived in Washington, D.C., on an official visit. A statement by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs received by the Iraqi news agency, INA, stated that Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Fuad Hussein, arrived in the U.S. capital, Washington, on an official visit during which he will hold a series of bilateral meetings with a number of senior officials in the U.S. administration. The statement added that this visit comes within the framework of strengthening bilateral relations between the Republic of Iraq and the United States of America, and discussing ways to develop joint cooperation in the political, security and economic fields, as well as discussing regional and international issues of common interest. The statement continued, during his visit, the minister is scheduled to meet with a number of officials in the U.S. State Department, most notably Marco Rubio, U.S. Secretary of State, in addition to holding meetings with prominent political and economic figures. Tishwash Al-Sudani. Our goal is to meet the needs of the Iraqi market and stop importing from abroad. Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani stated on Thursday that his government's goals include strengthening public-private sector partnerships, meeting the Iraqi market's need for local production, and halting imports. This came in a speech he delivered during the inauguration of the Executive Works, via video conference, for 6 industrial projects in Muthanna Governorate, at a total financial cost of $1.171 billion. In his televised address, he said that the private sector is the state's true partner in fulfilling various developmental and service obligations and needs for citizens, adding, "We have great confidence in business people in this field and in the facilities provided by the government." He added, "Our goal is to meet the needs of the local market and stop importing from abroad," stressing the need to meet the needs of the local market, whether for government projects, ministries, governorates, or others. Al-Sudani continued, "Iraq is currently witnessing a clear push to implement service and construction projects, which requires more diverse materials to meet the needs of this market, regardless of imports." Tishwash. What are the reasons for the decline in the dollar exchange rate against the Iraqi dinar? On Thursday, April 24, 2025, Professor of International Economics Nawar al-Saadi revealed the reasons for the decline in the exchange rate of the US dollar against the Iraqi dinar in local markets. Local stock exchanges in the capital, Baghdad, witnessed a rise in the value of the dinar at closing this afternoon, with the selling price reaching 145,500 dinars per $100, and the buying price reaching 143,500 dinars per $100. The dollar exchange rate in Iraqi markets rose significantly in the fall of 2024, exceeding 1,550 dinars per dollar, or 155,000 dinars per $100, in some areas. Trump's policies. Al-Saadi told Al-Jabal, "The current decline in the US dollar's exchange rate cannot be isolated from the global economic and political context, which is undergoing profound transformations. The United States has been facing negative economic indicators for some time, including slowing growth and declining retail sales data, which has reinforced market expectations that the Federal Reserve may move to cut interest rates in the coming period. This trend, by its nature, weakens the dollar's attractiveness as a savings and investment currency and increases pressure on it in foreign exchange markets." He added, "Furthermore, the economic policies recently adopted by the U.S. administration, most notably the imposition of tariffs on a number of goods, have contributed to raising import costs and increasing inflation rates, which has negatively impacted investor confidence in the performance of the U.S. economy in the medium term." He continued, "In addition to internal factors, there are also global shifts that are gradually beginning to impact the dollar's standing, noting that the accelerating trend by some international powers, such as the BRICS countries, toward reducing reliance on the dollar in trade and financial transactions reflects the beginning of the erosion of the monopoly position the dollar has enjoyed for decades. These multipolar policies are beginning to have a clear impact on the balance of monetary power worldwide." Internal factors. Regarding the situation in Iraq, according to the expert, The recent decline in the dollar exchange rate is due to a decline in local demand during Ramadan, when commercial activity and travel decrease, leading to a temporary decline in demand for hard currency. However, this decline is not sustainable, and the dollar is likely to rise again when demand returns to normal levels, especially with the approach of the summer import seasons or if obstacles arise in the flow of foreign currency into the Iraqi market. The professor of international economics concluded his remarks by saying, "The decline in the dollar exchange rate we are seeing reflects a state of economic anxiety and uncertainty rather than a long-term strategic shift." Al-Saudi stated that the dollar will not easily lose its global standing, but it is no longer the unrivaled currency, and the world is gradually moving toward new monetary balances that will have profound repercussions for developing economies, including Iraq Tishwash, soon. Indications of an oil discovery in Iraq. Positive indicators are increasing that strengthen the chances of announcing a new oil discovery in southern Iraq, amid active government moves to activate the latest licensing rounds and expand the scope of investment in exploration blocks, which will contribute to raising the country's production capacity in the short and medium term. According to a statement reviewed by the Washington-based energy platform, the Joint Management Committee for the 7th Exploration Block held its first meeting on Wednesday, April 23, 2025, headed by the director of the Wasit Oil Authority, engineer Ahmed Mahdi Sabri, and attended by officials from the Chinese company CNOOC, to which the block was awarded as part of the 5th and 6th supplementary licensing rounds. This meeting is seen as a first step towards a project that could lead to a confirmed oil discovery in one of the richest potential hydrocarbon reserves. During the meeting, it was agreed to approve the work program and operating budget for 2025, in addition to affirming the joint commitment to implementing global best practices in exploration and development. Oil discovery site. According to technical assessments conducted by the operating company, Block 7 shows strong initial indications of promising oil reserves. The geographic scope of the block includes the governorates of Diwania, Hilla, Muthana, Wasit, and Najaf, giving the project a strategic dimension, particularly as CNOOC intends to adopt advanced technologies that will contribute to enhancing the chances of a highly economically viable oil discovery. It's worth noting that this move comes as part of the Iraqi Ministry of Oil's efforts to revitalize recently signed licensing contracts, in line with the goals of the government's program and the state's vision to promote comprehensive development. Oil exploration in Iraq. Iraq's oil exploration portfolio is witnessing a significant shift. On October 27, 2024, the Ministry of Oil signed the final contracts for the latest licensing rounds, in the presence of Oil Minister Hayyan Abdul Ghani. Abdul Ghani announced that these agreements will contribute to the addition of 750,000 barrels per day of crude oil, in addition to the production of 850 million standard cubic feet of gas per day. The minister affirmed that the ministry has ambitious plans to develop new exploration blocks, which constitute a pivotal part of Iraq's oil exploration strategy for the next phase. The contracts cover vast areas, including the Al-Fao, Jabal Sanam, Sumer, Adan, and Abu Qaima fields, in addition to the Al-Khulasiya and Middle Euphrates fields, enhancing the geographical diversity of investment opportunities. Through these tours, the ministry seeks to attract quality investments that will secure the fuel needed for power plants and manufacturing industries, and open up broad prospects for employing Iraqi personnel, making oil exploration in Iraq an extremely important development tool. Production challenges and international commitments. In contrast, the Iraqi government is still required to reconcile its investment expansion with its international obligations under the OPEC+ alliance. In April, Baghdad announced its commitment to reduce oil production by 120,000 barrels per day, with the reduction set to increase to 140,000 barrels in May and June to compensate for production overruns over the past year. During the Sulaymaniyah Forum on April 16, 2025, the oil minister stated that Iraq is seeking to persuade OPEC to increase its production quota, at a time when the market is witnessing increasing pressure to control supplies. Abdul Ghani indicated that his country intends to extend exclusive invitations to American companies, such as ExxonMobil and Chevron, to strengthen their presence in oil exploration projects in Iraq. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Source: Dinar Recaps.